So I'm watching a video on the rideshare guy, and it's titled "Uber's Price Hike: Drivers Win, Passengers Lose." And they brought up one guy who's worried about that if the prices go up, then demand will go down.
And they benefit. And Lauren Ballas, who's on our channel, Behind the Wheel, go check it out. A full-time Uber and Lyft driver said he's worried that the higher prices might lead to a decrease in demand, but is overall optimistic. Lauren.
All right, so let me explain something. Demand is not going to go down because prices are going to go up. That whoever is thinking that, look, you need to stop. That doesn't make any sense. It never has and it never will. People are going to continue to need to get to work. People are going to continue to need to get home. People need to get to the bar. People need to get to wherever they have to go. Demand is not going to go down. Anytime that Uber and Lyft make that statement that, oh, demand is going to go down if we take the prices up, that is a threat. That is a direct threat to drivers that they're going to see a lower demand. It has nothing to do with ride requests. It doesn't mean that ride requests are going to go down. What they're referring to is that they're going to hire more drivers. They're going to hire more drivers, people that are ignorant to what's been going on and what is profitability, what is their losses, and all of this. They're going to hire more drivers, foreigners, Americans, people that are desperate. They're going to hire more people. And when the markets become flooded, you're going to see a decrease in the type of rides that you get. So if you're used to seeing about 10 rides an hour because you're a cherry picker, you're going to notice that now it's going down to 6 to maybe 5 or 4 rides per hour, causing you to accept rides that you normally would not accept because the price that they're paying for the ride is lower than expected. The fact that Uber and Lyft pretend that they know how much people can afford for a ride is really messed up. It is really messed up. But you, at the same time, you can charge people $20, $30 more to get to work. So what's the difference between on a Wednesday, you charging somebody $20, $30 more to get to work than you charging the passengers $3 more per day to drive the same exact person to work, and so that the driver is making enough on the trip itself? What's the difference between every now and then you're charging more on a ride versus just charging more on each ride so that drivers are accepting more rides and you're completing more trips? I had before I had a 40% turbo, 60% turbo on some hours. And I found myself declining way less trips than what I normally would decline. I accepted way more trips than I usually would accept. I literally, that day, I only declined maybe about 2 trips out of about 4 or 5 hours. Everything else I accepted. I'm like, crap, I usually don't accept this trip. I usually don't drive in this area, but the payout was right. And so I found myself accepting the trips. And I made good money in the amount of time that I was driving on the app. But again, it's really sick that Uber and Lyft think that they can, that they know how much people can afford to take a ride and everything like that. You know, as a driver, you may have a car note that's $500 a month. You're paying $300. You're paying $300 in insurance, totaling about $800 a month that you're paying for your car. So if you're paying $20 to get to work and $20 to get home, that's $40 a day. $40 a day times 5 comes up to $200. Times 4 weeks comes up to $800. You're spending just as much money going to work and going home every single month as a driver who is actually who's paying a car note and paying for automotive insurance and gas and maintenance costs. So if you're paying $20 a day to get to work and $20 a day getting home, you're actually saving more money driving on Lyft and Uber than you are getting your own car and driving back and forth to work. You're saving money. Yeah, as you can see it here, it's showing that the exact same cost is the same, but you're not paying for fuel. If you're paying for fuel and you're usually spending about $70 a week on fuel, that's $280 a month that you're paying on fuel, and that's on top of the $800 that you would be paying in car note insurance and on your car note, and this is not even factoring in maintenance costs and everything. So for Lyft to sit there and a driver is taking somebody to work, and you're paying the driver less than $8 or $10 for that 3 or 4 miles, then you're literally saying that the driver comes of less value. This person is escorted to work. This person has a chauffeur to work. It saves them time. They don't have to go outside, and they don't have to start up their car and warm it up. They don't have to worry about if an accident occurs, that now they have to worry about their insurance costs going up and increasing. Now they're paying more money in not commercial, but auto insurance. They don't have to worry about going and get a rental, even though the rental car company does pay for it if your car is totaled and everything like that. So again, but you're still going to be putting gas inside of a vehicle. You're still going to be looking for a tow truck to come get the vehicle. Now you got to go and you got to get another rental and everything like that. So again, rideshare essentially is way cheaper for passengers than it is for the driver. Not only that, but again, like I said, that person who is only traveling 2 or 3 miles to get to work, and as you can see, I'm right here. I'm going to drag this about 2 miles down the street, and let's see what they're charging the passenger. They're charging the passenger for this ride, which is going about 2 miles away. Actually, that's around about 2 miles. It's about 1.8 miles. So 1.8 miles, they're charging this passenger at bare minimum, at best, $3.99. Now, drivers get a base fare of $3. Again, if this person is getting to work and this person is paying $3.99 for a luxury to get a ride to pull up to their door and go and take them down the street, instead of them having to walk out of their door, walk to the nearest bus stop, wait at the bus stop and wait for a bus to come, where they could actually be at home being productive, maybe working on their future, making investments on the stock market or whatever it is, instead of them utilizing that time and having that time to themselves, they are spending time to walk to the bus stop. They're standing there waiting for the bus to come, which may take a half hour. It may take a whole hour for that bus to come. They have the luxury of somebody pulling up to their home and taking them where they got to go. So if a person thinks that them having to pay $10 to go on this particular trip, if they think that that's not a value, then why don't you walk to the bus stop? Why don't you wait for the bus? Why actually order a Lyft? See, here's the problem. Number one, they should not be charging $3.99. They should not be charging $3.99. You're going to pay the driver $3 for this trip. You're going to pay the driver $3 for this trip. The commercial auto insurance and the tax itself would be way too much. Lyft is actually going to lose money on this trip. They're not even calculating the cost of the trip right. And today is Sunday, December 8th, 2024. Again, that price is all wrong. But the fact that you want me to drive and pick this person up for free, the fact that you want me to pick them up for free and then take them down the street for $3, that is sickening. Knowing the cost of my fuel is going to cost me more between picking that person up and dropping them off than what you're going to pay me, because you're not charging the passenger enough money. You're literally only going to charge, now the prices went up. It's went up from $3.99 to $4.31. And they only do stuff like this because they're not going to pay the driver more money. They never do, and they never will. Okay? But they're taking up the price because they want people to start booking rides the moment they go and look at the price. If you don't book the ride, then you're going to notice that the price is going to go up. Sometimes the price is going to drop down. But it's going to go up a lot of times because they want you to book it as soon as possible. But if you're waiting, just trying to check prices, you're going to notice that it goes up. So now you're going to start taking more initiative to book the ride sooner instead of waiting. Now, for passengers who don't have drivers near them and they're booking the rides regardless, it sucks because they might send it to me and I'm across town. I'm not going to accept that ride anyway. I'm going to decline it. But the point is that this is real sick that you're going to charge somebody $431 all because you don't own any cars. You can't request a ride to have the city taxi pull up. You can't get the city taxi to pull up for $4.31 and take you anywhere other than a block. But this same exact trip on a city taxi is probably going to cost a person about $7 or $8. But what I'm basically saying is that what are we doing here? What is Lyft doing here? What is Uber doing here? You're not even trying to pay the drivers, and you're trying to talk about affordable rides and everything at the cost of who? The driver. And you're not informing the passenger what you're really paying the driver. And the fact that passengers can see that they're paying $431 and then decide, oh, well, I'm not going to tip. I'm not going to leave a tip. You see how, we're not getting all of that money. You already know that we're not getting all of that money. And at the same time, you're still going to refuse to even tip the driver that picked you up for free. And like I said, you got plenty of people out here that they're going to be looking like, oh, we're tipping is optional and everything, whatever. Yeah, but drivers also, that's why they're declining your ride, because there's so many people, they don't even tip. Now, yesterday wasn't too bad. I did 11 rides and I got 5 tips. Now, we can go down and we can look here. I did 22 rides and I got 6 tips. Isn't that something? That I can do 11 rides and get 5 tips on that day. And I do 22 rides and I get 6 tips. Basically double the rides and almost the same amount of tips that I received and everything. Now, look at this day. 18 rides, only 3 tips. Let's go down. Let's take a look at this one. 5 rides only and no tips. Some days I can do 20 or 30 rides and I don't receive any tips. Maybe 1, maybe 2 tips. It all depends. But if I was to go back and look at other weeks and everything, and I can show that a lot of people, they do not take the time to go back on the app and to show the driver that they appreciate them for doing this, for doing half of the drop for free. Right there, 0 tips out of 7 rides. Here, right here, this is real sick right here. 25 rides, only 2 tips. Let's see, go on another day, and we're looking at, some days I don't do a whole lot of rides. Now, that's 9 rides. 3 tips. Let's check one more day. 23 rides. 23 rides. Only 2 tips. And again, that means that I have 21 passengers that particular day. Sorry. 21 passengers that particular day that enjoy the free pickup. But don't at any time respect the people that are out here doing half the job for free. Now, this particular day you're looking at that I made $225, a little bit less than 7 hours. As you can notice, all of these rides, the majority of them have bonus hour or a ride bonus on the rides. It's really hard to get online and start giving rides when there is no sort of bonus because we're not being paid enough. And I've already proven that based off of this right here, and the price for this particular ride went up, and the standard $481, before it was $460, and before that it was $399. So again, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain and trying to get across the board to people is that none of these rides should ever cost less than $10. If a person is going a few blocks and the price is $10 and they're like, that's too much, I'm not paying that, good, you can walk. Because nobody wants to take you down the street for $3 either. I'm sorry. Even if I was riding a bicycle, I don't even want to put you on my bike and take you down the street for $3. Not alone pull up and drive my car for $3. But again, purpose of this video was to go over with the ride share professor and the other. Well, let's just leave it with the rideshare professor. I'm sorry, isn't even the rideshare professor. It's Sergio, and I forgot the other man's name, but that's Sergio right there on the screen and everything. Again, I wasn't addressing anything that they were saying. I'm addressing what drivers are saying, that if prices go up, then demand is going to go down. Demand is never going to go down. It is never going to go down. And the reason why it's never going to go down is because when Uber and Lyft is charging people $20 or $30 more to get to work, people are still paying it. They're still paying it. So if what drivers are being paid, if it goes up, and this is what passengers need to understand, if they pay drivers an additional 40% on each ride, number one, that's only a couple of bucks more to you, the passenger. However, I know that you have went outside and stood at the curve because your driver was coming around the corner. And as they were coming down the street, I know that you have seen that driver cancel the ride and turn right around and leave. What you really didn't know is that Lyft doesn't always cancel. The driver doesn't always cancel the ride. A lot of times Lyft and Uber, they're the ones canceling your ride, turning around and dropping off going to pick up another passenger. A lot of times that's them because somebody else paid a priority fee. And so they took your ride because you had to wait and save. You're getting the ride, let's say they said 10 minutes. Now they're saying the driver is going to pop up in 3 minutes or 5 minutes because somebody else logged online, or a driver that was close by that they were planning on sending them somewhere else, that driver declined that ride. Now that driver gets your ride request, and now you're going to get the ride a lot sooner. However, at the same time of you getting that ride sooner, they end up, even though the driver's coming right down the street, boom. Now they're trying to tell you, nope, we're taking that ride, we're giving it to somebody else. And why? Because they're sending that driver to another passenger. So again, there's a lot of people, and they're saying different things in regards to prices going up and everything. What Lyft makes off a ride, that shouldn't change, because Lyft did not increase the fares. They didn't increase the price on what they should charge passengers. Since you didn't do this on your own, and it's the drivers who had to protest and beg for a raise, since it's them, you shouldn't be able to make extra money on rides. Only the drivers should. If you feel like the price that you were charging was right and it was accurate, and your numbers show that you are charging people enough money, or you're paying passengers enough money, paying drivers enough money. If your numbers show that, then when these drivers get approved to make more money per mile, more money for time, then whatever you are making off of these rides currently, it shouldn't change. Only what the driver is supposed to be making, getting paid for the ride, only that should change. Meaning that if a usual ride you're supposed to make $3, but now that drivers protest, and now the driver, you're supposed to usually make $3, then you should still make $3, even though the driver is making an additional $1.50 or $1.40 for that ride. You shouldn't be making anything extra. You didn't earn it. You did not earn it. You did not, it wasn't your idea to take up the price or anything. So that's flat out the way that should go. Uber and Lyft should not be able to make extra money just because drivers fought to get extra money. But like I said before, the whole purpose of this video is that I don't like the fact that a lot of drivers are thinking that demand is going to go down. Why would it go down? You really think that people are going to start walking to work? They're not going to call it a city taxi because they don't have the ease of requesting a ride with the city taxi, number one. Then number two, they're not going to call it a city taxi because the city taxi is going to tell them that it's going to be an hour and a half. Meaning people have to get up, wake up early, get themselves ready early just to book a ride with the city taxi. And the thing is that the city taxi could end up having the driver there in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, even 15 or 20 minutes. You don't even know. So you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck getting up an hour and a half early, not knowing that if you book that ride with the city taxi, that you may end up in a bad position because you may miss your ride because they get there sooner. But thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good one.